Hey, we've got our next guest here, and she flies against the narrative of the liberal left every single day. None other than Gene Evans, the executive director of the Missouri Republican Party. Gene, good morning. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing okay, Gene. How are you doing? How's you're probably ready to take a little what do they say, a well-earned nap after this, right? So a long winter's nap. I'm sure you've been burning the candle at both ends. I saw our chairwoman, Kay Hoflander, in St. Charles this weekend. I'm sure you were at one of the other locations, and people are running hither and thither and yon. And first of all, Gene, tell us the bus tour. I thought was a smashing success. They had a huge crowd in St. Charles on Saturday.
They had huge crowds everywhere they went, and when they started out, the weather was terrible. It was cold and freezing rain on the other side of the state when the bus tour started, and they were still drawing huge crowds. But really capped off the end of the week with Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Greene County and in St. Charles County and some other trips across the state. And then today they are flying around, the governor and the other statewide visiting folks in a fly around for one more day. I originally was going to go with them, but we all decided that I should do some more media and talk to some folks, because one of the things that we're concerned about, we want to make sure people are voting all the way up and down the ballot. So obviously we want everyone to vote for Trump, for Mike Parson, for all our statewide, but even down ballot when you get into these, local races, for state rep, like down in Springfield, Alex Riley, Steve Helms. If you're voting for Trump, you got to vote for your Republicans in these state rep races, because they're very important, and you got to vote yes on Amendment 3.
Yeah, Gene, it's so important that you're on the airwaves all across the state, and it's so important you're on the airwaves kicking off the day here in Southwest Missouri, because Gene, we can't get lackadaisical down here in Southwest Missouri, right? We can't just assume, we're all going to have Republican state reps and senators, and so I'm really busy today. Those lines are really long. Gene, it's so important, isn't it, for Southwest Missouri to run up the score? We need to vote yes on Amendment 3. We need to make sure the governor has a nice, big, comfortable lead. We want to. The Democratic bench is Nicole Galloway, and it pretty much ends with Nicole Galloway. And I don't know who else they're going to try to uplift. We talked to maybe Yinka Folletti in the future, but their bench is decimated. We don't want to give them any kind of a psychological boost, do we? We want to protect the House and the Senate, and that's why it's so important that every single voter across Southwest Missouri makes sure they get to the polls.
Well, another one that's on their bench is from Southwest Missouri, the only Democrat elected to the state house down there, in Crystal Quaid. And any more seats that we allow her to take are just a feather in her cap and help her in her career. And she is one of the most far-left liberals in the state legislature, even though she's from Springfield. So you're absolutely right. You cannot take these things for granted. We have to re-elect Steve Helms and elect Alex Riley down there. And can I mention something? I know we're talking about down ballot, but I just think this is so hilarious. So
absolutely,
4 years ago, 2016, the breaking news the day before the election was that Hillary Clinton had opened up a 14-point lead nationally on Donald Trump.
You've got to be kidding me. Was it that big?
Yeah. I just heard this. I looked it up. That's what now maybe that was just one particular poll, and we've seen that in some of the other polls. And now the Real Clear average or whatever, blah, 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 was a little bit closer. But at this point, for me, Tim, it was my first general election. And I was worried about my own race and, the other Republicans, but I did not expect Donald Trump to win. And at that time, we didn't know how he was going to govern. So I don't, we had some people who were excited because he was an outsider, but we didn't have the enthusiasm we have now, because we actually have a president who's doing what he said he was going to do. And I've been talking to all kinds of people, including suburban women who are well-educated suburban women who are telling me they can't wait to vote for Donald Trump because he actually did what he told us he was going to do, and they haven't seen that from a politician in their lifetime.
Well, Gene, it's funny you mentioned that about the suburban women. I'll bet Iowa has a lot of suburban women in it around all of its major cities. And there was a huge poll that came out yesterday from the Des Moines Register. I would think they know a thing or two about Iowa politics and the political class up there and where people are going. Trump wins back independents to take 7-point lead in battleground Iowa. 7 points, Gene. Biden losing ground with women. Gene, has everything, I don't know if we can say this yet or not, but has everything the mainstream liberal media been telling us over the last 5, 6, 7 months been nothing more than their own inner projection about what they wanted to have happen during this election cycle?
Well, they're so controlled by the Democrats, and it's seeped in here across the state too. I mean, when we have stories of corruption or illegal activity about Democrats, we can't even get the papers to print them or the news stations to investigate them. So it's not just what they're reporting, it's what they fail to report. And the way they phrase things. And I'm not talking about their endorsements from their editorial page. Who cares? I'm talking about plain old news coverage. And I actually think the Springfield Leader does a pretty good job down there, I'll be honest. But when you come up into St. Louis and Kansas City, the reporting is abysmal. So and then on the national side, as you know, I mean, they all these major media outlets have completely forgotten about Hunter Biden or that he even existed. Although a few years ago, they were reporting on it. You know, the Biden crime family. I mean, that was reported in the New York Times before he was a candidate for president. He has, if you look at Joe Biden's past and all the nasty things that have been written about him because of all the, whether it was plagiarism or with other family issues, that's all forgotten now, right? Because they're all in the tank for the liberals. And I'll tell you what, if they get power, if they get power, this is not, I say, Tim, this is not our parents' Democrat Party. This is a new generation of leftists who want to defund the police, defund the Pentagon. And so, yesterday, I don't know if you saw this, Kamala Harris tweeted this little video. It was basically promoting socialism.
Yes, I saw that you did that. We just played that right before you came on. The last segment, we played that. We absolutely did. Yeah, it's really remarkable. Hey, Gene, we got about a minute left. Besides voting, is there anything else people can do over this next 24-hour period? Anywhere people can help? Any websites you want to direct them to besides just going and voting, getting everybody to vote? Is there anything else to do at this point in time?
So two things is we are constantly updating on our Facebook page. It's just Missouri Republican Party. You go on Facebook. But two, text and call your friends. Make sure they're going to vote. That is so important. If you've got friends in another part of the state, remind them to vote up and down the ballot. If they say, well, I'm only going to vote for Trump, I'm glad they're going to vote for Trump. But remind them we need Republicans at every level. So we've got to do an all-out press. If I can get every one of your listeners to call or text 5 people and make sure they're going to vote and they're voting for all our Republican candidates, that make a huge difference.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gene Evans, the Executive Director of the Missouri Republican Party. Great words, truth to power here in the home stretch. Thanks, Gene. Good luck tomorrow. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.